Good morning, Christian. Thank you very much for taking part in the Business Spotlight series. I'm going to hand it straight over to you to introduce yourself and what you do.
Good morning, Ed. Thanks a lot for inviting me. I run a global long-short equity strategy, a hedge fund strategy, and I have been doing so since 2015 for clients. We have quite a good track record. In the past years, twice we got shortlisted as one of the best European long-short equity hedge funds in Europe. And there are 1,000 different strategies how to make money. And our core strength is really to make money when markets are doing really badly. So last year we had our best year ever. For example, in March 2020, when the COVID crash happened and the global markets crashed between 20 to 40%, we had our best month ever. And the reason being for that is really in my background. I mean, I started quite early when I was 17, in 1997. And, after my studies, I worked for Man Group, both in London, but as well in Switzerland. And I think what is quite unusual then, though, is that in 2009, I moved to Russia and I was working for an American-owned investment boutique being based in Moscow. I mean, I didn't speak any Russian. I don't have any Russian ancestors or relatives. So just moved there, learned the language, and worked for this US hedge fund. And most people might not know, but the Russian market was in a long bear market. So from 2011 till 2014, especially in 2014 with the Crimea sanctions, the oil price crashing from 110 to 30, the market there was really just going one way. And so I had 4 years time from 2011 till the end of 2014 to learn how to make money on the short side. And that really became then my core strength. And now when you look at our track record in the 10 worst months since 2015 of the MSCI Global Index, we have outperformed the market, we have outperformed the market in 10 of 10 cases, but really in 7 out of 10 cases, we had positive returns. And that sets us really apart from many other funds. So that's
fantastic. And it's always good to hear people being able to make positive things when the economy and things go down, which is often the case in the investment side. And I was going to ask you, what was the effect of COVID in the business? But I'm going to guess you're going to tell me it was possibly a positive thing.
In my case, it was, we had one of, as I mentioned, right, one of the best months and as well one of the best years in 2020. So obviously it was great in the sense that, before that, a lot of people, they had doubts that, I really can generate those attractive returns when the market is crashing. And there again, it became much, much clearer, right? Because a lot of people thought, I have, made those returns in the Russian market. But then since 2015, since I'm investing globally, there were 1-2 incidents as well when I made really good returns when the market was crashing. But people thought, okay, that's maybe it was just luck or whatever, right? And then they saw much clearer, hey, no, that's not just luck. It's really consistent. And obviously, last year again helped me a lot because we had our best year ever. In fact, last year where almost everyone I know lost quite a lot of money.
Yeah, brilliant. Not brilliant, they lost money, but brilliant too.
No, I don't.
And in terms of your clients, is there a certain sort of type of person that tends to come to you for investments, or a certain size of investment they're making?
So, I mean, because we run this hedge fund strategy, right, it's highly regulated. So we're only allowed to take on, high net worth individuals, family offices, and so on. So no retail investors. And at the current stage, I mean, the majority of my investors are high net worth individuals, family offices, investors that, meet certain criteria. But, I would say have really an interest in a strategy that offers them protection, right? Because a lot of the investors, right, they have other investments as well. They might own other funds or ETFs and so on, but they specifically choose our strategy because they know, okay, if the market is crashing, they might lose on some parts, but they're gaining here. So the overall performance is much smoother, and they don't panic then and sell right at the bottom. And I think that's one of the biggest benefits by combining my strategy with other strategies.
Excellent. Yeah, so it's good scenario planning for them, and almost a bit like an insurance against the crazy market that's been going the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, I've one investor, like a Ukrainian investor, right? And obviously, you can imagine, right? Last year, he lost his business, or his business suffered massively in Ukraine, right? And I mean, he suffered in many aspects, right? Obviously, war and so on, right? And obviously, it's extremely rewarding. Then, at least with me, he made quite a lot of money, right? And so, I mean, I was obviously very happy about that.
Oh, that's great. It's great to
Mm,
see the impact on someone's life. I suppose
exactly.
yeah, it's not just numbers. And what's the aspirations for the company in the next 5 years?
So, I mean, we are still a relatively small company, and despite the fact that I would say, have one of the best track records in the industry since 2015, right? We are still quite small. I would say we don't have the best infrastructure and so on. So there's still a lot of potential for improvement, and obviously you have to be able to afford, infrastructure to hire really the best analysts and so on. So our goal is definitely to, on one hand, obviously consistently generate attractive returns. On the other hand, to really, grow the business in terms of assets under management, in order to be able to really afford, best infrastructure, best analysts, and so on. I mean, that's one of the, I would be very happy about that. And obviously, then together with that, I hope that, or I'm really working on making sure that we consistently perform really well. I think that's for me the biggest goal, right? This consistency, I think, is really important.
Hmm. Definitely. And then on the other side, then, what would you say is the challenges for the industry?
I mean, in general, right? It's definitely our challenge. I would say it's the regulation in terms of it's getting more and more demanding, and you spend more, not only time but as well money on compliance and so on. And after Brexit, obviously, the EU market became very difficult for us. And so, I mean, it's also then a lot of costs involved if you want to market and sell products in the European Union, right? So the challenges are definitely on the regulatory side. I mean, there are a lot of demands and a lot of costs involved there to
Hmm.
overcome those demands.
Yeah.
Obviously, for a big company, right, it's not a big deal. I would say if you're a smaller company, that's definitely something I would call a challenge.
Hmm. And again, obviously, you've gone through some interesting times, some ups and downs in the market. What's been the biggest learning you've had as a business owner?
As a business owner, I would say, most crucial is really with whom do you partner, because you can you can waste a lot of time with the wrong partners. And so choosing the right partners is, I think, most important, because the reality is you have very high opportunity costs. You have to be extremely careful that you don't waste your time with people where at the end of the day you don't get along. There are conflicts then, and they promise stuff they don't deliver, and so on. So choosing the right partners, I think, is probably one of the most important
Hmm.
lessons learned, I would say.
Yeah, indeed. Very, very important. Get the right
I
fit,
mean,
cults that you wanted.
not only in business, also in life in general, right? If you have the wrong partner, it's kind of similar in business as well. I mean, it can be, obviously very nice, and but obviously can be a nightmare as well, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. Important to get some good selection criteria. Okay, let's not go into that. So, and also you mentioned that you've been involved as an investor since you were 17. It's obvious that it's a strong passion for you. What is it that inspires you?
Yeah, for me, obviously, it's an intellectual challenge, right? And obviously, when you think really hard about something, and you can then, see the result of your work, right? Whether you're right or wrong. Um, in investing, you immediately see the result of your work, right? Because if you're right and you make money, okay, you've done something correct. Probably, man, you could also have been just lucky, right? But over time, you see then really whether you made the right decisions or it has been luck, right? And there are obviously those outstanding investors, like for example Stanley Druckenmiller, who made more than 30% over 30 years. No negative year in this time, right? I mean, that's just extremely inspiring and something probably most investors would like to achieve. And obviously, as there's the saying, records are there to be broken. So you wanna, or at least me, I think that's one of the goals. I mean, to really work on my investment system and generate really attractive returns.
Fantastic. Sounds great. Thank you. And look, as a final thing, is there anything, any news or any offer you'd like to share with the audience?
I mean, in terms of news, right, what is really, what I'm quite proud of is, there's this hedge fund database called Barclay Hedge, where, all the hedge funds or most of the hedge funds provide their data, their performance data and so on. So last year, we got ranked, according to Barclay Hedge, as one of the top long-short equity hedge funds globally. And obviously that's, pretty rewarding.
Indeed,
And
congratulations on that. And look forward to seeing the development of the fund and the returns and see what happens in the future.
yeah, thanks a lot. Obviously, if anyone is interested, they can always go on our website, arinvestments.com, or find me on LinkedIn and so on. And if they're interested, get really more information there. Definitely.
Perfect. I'll put a link in the bio below so people can click on it and find it easily.
Super.
Thanks very much for taking part. Great to find out what you do. And as I say, I'm looking forward to seeing the developments in the future.
Thanks a lot, Ed. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Christian.